Okay, Chair. If you'd like to commence the meeting.
Right, thank you. Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's local plan meeting. The first item on the agenda is apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies?
Chair, I have apologies from Councillor Galt.
Right, thank you. All right, thank you. Second item, declarations of interest. Do we have any items to declare? No. Do you see anyone, Pauline?
No, can't see anybody, Chair.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the minutes of the previous meeting. Does anyone have any comments or questions or anything they'd like to raise from the previous minutes? All right, then who would like to propose that we accept these as an accurate record then?
I'll propose.
All right, thank you, Councillor Beebe. And do we have a seconder?
I'll second them.
All right, thank you, Councillor Keane. All right, all those in favour of receiving the minutes then? Aye.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Right, so we just have one report on tonight's agenda. This will be led by Peter Williams. It's the local development scheme. So if you begin then, Peter, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. This report seeks members' approval for the updated local development scheme, including an updated timetable for the Part 2 local plan and a separate gypsy and traveller plan. By way of introduction, the local development scheme is a project plan for the preparation of key planning policy documents. It outlines the programme and resources. Legislation requires that the LDS is published by the local planning authority. The LDS that we're discussing tonight follows on from the North Lancs LDS published in July last year and updates the existing LDS covering Corby, which this committee considered back in June and approved back in June 2019. So by way of update then, it covers the Part 2 local plan for Corby. So where we are on this, following submission of the Part 2 local plan to the Secretary of State for examination in December last year, the inspector responded with a series of initial questions, including a request for the council to outline a schedule of proposed changes to the local plan, indicating which ones it considers to be main modifications. The main modifications are those which will materially affect the policies in the plan, so will require further public consultation following the examination hearings, which are due to take place at the end of September, early October. So the process isn't delayed too much, the council has requested that the inspector recommend modifications to the plan through the examination process. Therefore, an additional modifications consultation stage has been programmed into the timetable to take place early in 2021. The LDS adjusts the timetable for the remaining programme for producing the Part 2 local plan as set out in the report. So that means now adoption we estimate to be in May 2021. So the LDS also covers a gypsy and traveller allocation plan. The background to this is that the Joint Core Strategy states that sufficient sites for gypsies and travellers will be identified. It requires Part 2 local plans to allow any further sites required to meet identified need. The Part 2 local plan was at an advanced stage in the plan making process when updated evidence of the accommodation needs of gypsies and travellers were published. The gypsy and accommodation assessment identified a need for 7 pitches to be provided in Corby between 2018 and 2023, and a further 3 pitches to be provided between 2023 and the end of the plan period in 20 2031. It was considered that the opportunity to identify and allocate new sites through the Part 2 local plan was unachievable without introducing an unacceptable delay to the Part 2 local plan. The council proposed changes to the publication draft Part 2 local plan, setting out its intention to prepare a separate Gypsy and Traveller site allocation plan, identifying sufficient sites. Progressing a standalone policy document in a timely manner will be important under scrutiny during the examination into the Part 2 local plan. If this is not undertaken, there's a risk that the planning inspector could find the local plan to be not sound, or the examination could be deferred for the Gypsy and Traveller policy to be developed. So to avoid this, we've set out in the report a timetable for the preparation of the allocation plan. So consultation starting in spring next year, submission autumn 2022, adoption winter 2024. The Gypsy and Travel allocation plan will be taken forward within the context of the update of the joint course strategy through the Unitary Authority. However, an initial stage of work to provide advice on existing on the ability of existing Gypsy and Traveller sites to meet a proportion of the identified needs for Gypsies and Travellers in Corby has already commenced, and that's currently being funded within the existing Part 2 local plan budget. Separate budgetary arrangements may need to be considered to cover the full cost of evidence gathering and preparation of a Gypsy and Traveller allocation plan. However, it's likely that the majority of this work will fall under the remit of the new Unitary Authority arrangements, and so it's suggested that a separate report be taken to the appropriate Unitary Authority budget committee when details on costings are known, as they may wish to feed into the work. And also, as members will be aware, there's a planning white paper proposes a number of changes to local plans which may change the format of the Gypsy and Traveller plan, so would need further discussion before commencing work on such a document. So the recommendation for tonight is that members approve the updated LDS as set out in the appendix, and that will bring it into immediate effect starting today. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Peter. Are there any councillors who have any questions or comments? Right. I'll mention a couple of things before we move to the recommendation. Obviously, you can see a lot of work's gone into this. I'm sure we all want to thank the officers for what they've done. One thing that's good to see from this is when you see timetables having to be adjusted, you always think, oh, that means it's probably gone a long way off track or anything, but it's testament to the work the local plan team have done in that it's not very much different to the original timetable, and obviously the way things currently are, you expect a little bit of changes, so it's good what they've done. What I did ask Peter to do, which he has done in this report, is to emphasise how this work ties in with the work of the new authority, because I thought you as members wouldn't want to potentially be funding something which then potentially might get superseded in April. So Peter's brought us this evening how this fits in with the overall joint course strategy, so we can see that anything we've got a part in here can continue, and it's not just a waste of time as you might think. So thank you for doing that, Peter. So has anyone got any further comments, or shall we move to the recommendation?
Yeah, I'm happy to move the recommendation. All
right then. Yes, thank you. Obviously, this brings what we're doing into immediate effect, as the recommendation says, due to the fact, of course, it's quite a timely thing, which is why we had to have this meeting today. So, all right. So it's been proposed by Councillor Cassidy. Is there a seconder?
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Keane. All right, all those in favour of the recommendation?
Thank you.
Right, Pauline, I can't see everyone. Was everyone in favour?
Everyone's
Yeah,
in
there-
favour that we can see, yes.
Right. Good. All right. Thank you. Thank you to Pauline and Paul as well for your work. And that concludes all the business for this evening. And I declare the meeting closed.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chair.
Chair, thank you, Peter.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Right.